Hello dear friends, my name is Muttapalpula and I'm working as a business intern consultant for past 10 years. This is my 11th YouTube video. Today I'm going to talk about data engineering related topic, data cleaning process using Azure Databricks. So today I selected this topic because I faced certain challenges during my project. So there I learned certain technologies and methods to clean data. So today I'm doing this video to share my experience with you. Okay, let's move on. Now, first we have to understand what is data cleaning. The data cleaning is the process to fix or remove incorrect, corrupted, incorrect formatted or duplicated data from a source, because we extract data into a storage or some data lake or some kind of storage to analyze data. If we have incorrect or garbage data, the outcome will be a incorrect one. So first thing that the mandatory requirement is to clean data where it's stored. So the first thing that we need to do before analysis, data cleaning. To do that one, I selected Azure Databricks because it's zero management, fast cloud platform for big data processing with multiple programming language. As you know that we can use Scala, Python, SQL, those programming languages. So it's very user friendly and also pretty much fast tool. Okay, let's move to demo. Okay, for this demo, I created a Azure Blob storage account, and in the Blob storage account, I created this sales row container, and inside the container, I create sales folder. And inside the folder, I create two files called sales file and the metadata file. Both are CSV files. Sales files contain sales information. Metadata file contain the configuration information that we need to execute a cleaning process like table name, column names, data types, etc. So I'm going to use Azure Databricks and access these two files from it and write a logic to clean sales data. Here it contains garbage values and also incorrect data. So I'm going to use this metadata file with the configuration information, and I will write a logic using Azure Databricks to clean this sales file. Okay, let's move to Azure Databricks side. Now this is my cluster. It's a standard cluster that I created for my testing purposes. It's called the PDF cluster. And here first thing that I implemented was to a connection to Azure Blob Storage. Here I use the direct method, that means using storage key. This is not a recommended method, but we can use it for certain purposes. But for the production environment, actually they are recommending to use Azure Key Vault or the service principal methods to access a storage. So here I'm using this direct method to access the blob storage. Here I mentioned the storage name, then the storage key and the configuration set and the blob container and the path. And the first thing that I did here, we need to get metadata into the Databricks. So let's load that one. First we need to execute this part. Set the configuration, that's executed, and then load metadata. Okay, now here you can see the tables and the column name, the casting flag, that means conversion is required or not, and then the null filling flag means that we need to replace the null value if that column contain null value or not, and then the expression type, that means this is the method that I'm going to use to replace certain incorrect data using regular expression. For that one, I created three parameters. First one is the regular expression type. Based on the command, I categorize it by flag, and then this column is required the regular expression replacement process or not. To indicate that one, I create this column, and then what is the expression or the search expression or search value that we need to use for regular expression. Okay, the next part is to load the sales data. Let's load it and see how it's look like. Okay, Now in this sales data, you can see the customer number, order number, item, sales price, quantity, order date, delivery date, and the commission percentage. Now these two columns are actually looks okay, but there are some issues like car ITX. There are some incorrect information in this column, right? So we need to fix this one. And also in the sales price, we can see this L. There's a characters in this rows, and also there are null values. The quantity seems to be okay, and order date, there are certain issues like it actually merged with or the contain with the characters, the letters. So we need to fix this one also. And also delivery date, we have that the correct in correct format. Also there are NA and null and dash values. So when we come to the commission percentage, there are also issues. Now we can see that percentage value, and there are null values and zero value. So here we can identify, we need to fix this commission percentage, delivery date, order date, sales price, and item. So let's see how to do it. Okay, first thing that I'm going to do is the replace null value, right? For that one, let's move on to our metadata file. Now here I mentioned that we are going to use this null field flag and null field column to do that process. So we can omit this zero ith records because it's not required to do any null replacement operation. So we will pick this on these rows that contain value as 1. So here I'm going to load that required records into this data frame, and then I'm going to build the expression using the column name and the replacement value, and I'm going to execute that one top of the data frame. Before that one, I have to copy the original sales data into another data frame. This is the original sales data frame df. So I'm going to copy into another data frame because I want to compare, because then we can identify what is the impact after once we execute this null replacement process. Let's look at the original data sets. Here you can see that sales price, it contain null value, and also delivery date, it contain null value, and also commission percentage, it contain null value. Okay, let's execute this part and see what is the outcome. Right now here I load the column name into a variable using the filtered data frame, and also what I assign a replacement value into a variable, and using those two variables I build this expression to replace the column to a command and execute top of the data frame. Let's execute and see what's the outcome. Okay, it's mentioned df not defined because the reason was that I didn't execute this part. So let's execute this one. Okay, executed. Now we can execute this one. Okay, now this is the output of the metadata data frame. Let's see the output of our data frame df1. Okay, now here we can see the null values are gone and replaced by the values that we passed on the metadata file. Here is 1, and also we can see default value, the 1900 for the delivery date, and also commission percentage also replaced by 0. Now if we go back to our original file, we can see the null value figures. Right now that one completed, that means null process we executed successfully, and it replaced the null values by the default value that we provided from the metadata file. Okay, the second one is that we have to clean the data. Clean the data means, now if we check this sales price, we can identify this L characters and some unwanted information attached to sales price. And also if we check the order date, we can see the characters inside the dates. And also we can see in the commission percentage, we can see there are some mistakes happen. Now here you can see 3%. And also if you go to the item, yeah, it's a not readable, ITX, it's not meaningful, so we need to replace that one. So these things I'm going to use regular expression and replace these figures. To do that one, I filled out the records or the columns that required for replacement process. Now, as I mentioned earlier, I marked using this flag, the regular expression replace flag. It indicates that whether this column required a replacement process or not. Okay, let's go to this part and try to execute this one. And first I will explain what I did here. Now, first thing that I mentioned, that I load the required column information into the separate data frame, and then from that data frame I read the configuration information like the column name, what is the regular expression type, and what is the search value, what is the replacement. And also based on the regular expression type, I use certain different regular expression methods to replace value. The first one is the type 1. Type 1 will take the column and search the search value, check the search value, and replace based on the attached allocated value. And second one is save command, but it will replace it by a blank value. The third one is to not to replace, just to extract certain information from the text and replace, and also replace the missing information by 0. That's what I'm going to do. Okay, let's see how to do it. Okay, now we completed the null replacement process. Now we need to start the data cleaning part. So before do that one, I copy the null replace data frame into a new data frame, so we can compare with the after once we complete the cleaning process using the regular expression. Okay, let me execute this one. Okay, executed. Now this is the metadata file that I filtered metadata data frame that I used to clean the data. Okay, let's see what's the outcome of this process. Okay, now you can see the certain characters and also the percentages, also the percentage mark and the duplicated percentage marks, all are gone. We can compare this output with the previous output. Yeah, you can see the percentages mark, dash, NAs, and the ITX value also. The ITX value replaced by the accessory items. So now the data, this data set is now almost clean, but there is one step that we need to complete before inserting this data into a database or data warehouse or something, or before do any analysis. We need to convert data types of this data set. Now, for example, we can say now there's a decimal value. There are unwanted decimal places, so we can restrict and convert the decimal figure into a readable. Like for example, let's take a value called 38 is the size of the decimal, and also digits, let's say 10 digits. So actual value is actually contain only 5 to 2 figure. So we don't want to keep the 38 as the complete value and the decimal places 10 decimal places. So we can restrict and we can reduce it, and we can also reduce the size of the file, and we can use it very easy. So let's see how to do that one. Now in metadata file, I mentioned what is the column name and also the data type, and also I mentioned the casting or the conversion is required or not. Based on these 3 columns, I'm going to use this code to build a casting or the data conversion statement. This is the data conversion statement. You can see this cast for the integer and also integer values, and certain columns it's not required. So if it is required, we can go like date or any other data type like numeric, decimal, integer, big int. Like based on the requirement, we can use it, and we can build this casting statement. And we can, after that, using this creating this statement, we can use into a select statement for the data frame, and we can execute, and we can load converted data into a new data frame. I will show you how to do that one, because now we execute this part step by step, and also we use sales table to show the examples, how to convert, replace null values, replace missing data or incorrect data, and convert data types. But if you have multiple tables, right, you cannot execute one by one. You have to write, then so you have to write notebooks per table. So that's not going to work, because if you have, let's say, 100 plus tables, then the maintaining notebooks will be a huge problem. So let's see how to automate this operation into a single notebook and execute it. Okay, let's see how to combine these all steps and create a one single notebook to do this cleaning process. First thing that we need to we have to build a connection to the data source. Now here it's the blob storage. I use the direct method, but you can replace it by the Azure key vault configuration and also service principal configuration. And then we need to load the metadata into the Databricks, and then we need to convert the data frame. That means we need to define what are the final data types that we need to get from the Databricks, and then the automated process. Now, at the end of the automated process, we are going to use this data conversion logic to format final output. Let's execute this one. I will execute the clear state and run all. Now it's executing. Okay, this is the metadata file. The conversion logic, it converted the columns that we need to format the final output. Okay, this is the automated process. Now here we can see the output. This is the original file. Now here I put the display command here, the data frame 1, and then the data frame 2 and 3. Now first data frame show the information with the null figures and all the garbage data and the incorrect data, and then you can see the null replacement part executed. Now the null values go on, and then the regular expression to replace incorrect data. Now that data set also clean, and also finally I executed this command to format the final output. The final output is the data df2, and I am using the data conversion logic. I convert that df2 into df3 using this select expr command using the formatted hashed column. That means this value. Let's compare our first data frame schema and the final data schema. Then you can see there are the types now change into integer type, and also you can see decimal figure also 5 to 2. Now you can see this commission percentage in string type. Now we in this using this notebook, we replace null values, we correct error data, and also we converted into a the recommended or the fixed structure that we want to do the analysis. Okay, that's the end of this demo. I think you got an idea about how to build a notebook to automate this kind of cleaning process. This is a very simple one, but there are certain cases that like for example garbage values, like the characters that uh, let's say commas and also ASCII values, so you want to remove. So there you need to build some complex logics to remove that one, but you can use this as a foundation and build your own solution. Okay, let's see what we learned today. Okay, let's look at what we learned today. First thing that we learned how to replace null values using the fill in a function, and then we learned how to replace the text value, the error data using the regular expression functions, and also we learned how to pivot and create a select statement to convert data types. I think that this demo and my YouTube video will help you to build your own cleaning processes for your data. And from next video, I will show you how to use a complex. Okay, let's see what we learned today. We learned how to use replace null values using fill in a function, and also we tried out certain scenarios to use a reg expression function to replace certain error data, and also we learned how to create a pivot commands and create a casting or the data conversion logic that we can format the data frames. So this is the end of this video, and I think you learned something from this, and you can create your own cleaning process. Thank you for watching this video. Thank you.